Well, hello, ALBW, wherever you are. I am Pat Esgate. I am the lead organizer of ALBW and Lister Birthday Week, and I could not be more excited to have you on board today because after almost 3 years, we are ready to launch ALBW 2022. And oh my gosh, what a lot of stuff we have to go through today. So I want to welcome you in, both to those of you who have been writing this journey with me for the last almost 3 years, and to all of those who may be just tuning in for the first time. But we're really excited about what we have to tell you today. There's a couple of things that are going to happen. We're going to walk through what the events are, not one by one, because guess what? There's 80 of them, and that doesn't include all the free workshops. But we do have a lot to talk about, and I'm also going to talk to you about how to use the event guide, which will be in your mailboxes on Monday morning. We will also be posting that on the ALBW chat page and also on the Ann Lister Birthday Week page, or excuse me, ALBW group page. So get ready for that. Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about what really has been driving ALBW all this time. And it really is encapsulated within our tagline, which is history, mystery, discovery, and community. We've been through quite a long period here dealing with the pandemic, communicating with each other on social media, getting to know one another through the various groups. And it's time for us to come together in one place. It's time for us to meet face to face. It's time for us to get to Halifax, to affirm Anne, yes, but to affirm ourselves, to give each other a pat on the back, to meet each other in person, and by God, to have a great time because we are going to keep you busy. Before I get out there, I'd like to thank, because it's really important, I have a team of people behind me. I don't do this all by myself. And I do want to take a moment to thank Jennifer Grant, Linda Pellegrino, Janet Lee, of course, the amazing Steph Galloway, our producer, and Kat Williams, who's also in the background. But Steph, I'd like you to bring Cheryl McDonald up for a second. And there she is, the amazing Cheryl McDonald. I want all of you to see Cheryl and meet her in person this time, because I may be the engine here, but Cheryl is the wheels that keeps us moving forward. So I want to thank you, Chief, for all the work that you do, because I couldn't appreciate it more. So
you're too kind. This has been an amazing trip.
Yeah, it certainly has. And here we go. So I'm going to put you back behind the screen now, and we'll get started. We are really, really fortunate this morning to have a special guest to help us launch our ALBW Live today, but she's also going to be helping us launch our event in Halifax on Anne's birthday. And that is none other than the woman who got us all started on this, the person who created the amazing show, Gentleman Jack. And without further ado, let's bring on Sally Wainwright. Hey, Sally, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good, good. And there they are in the background. Anne and Anne, great shot. So Sally, you and I were talking last week, and you were kind enough. Oh, wait, I want to say something. Sally's also the reason why I've been sitting on this screen for the last 2 years, because it was Sally who called me right after we had to cancel the first ALBW due to COVID. And she said to me, well, I feel bad about all the work that you've put in. Why don't you interview me live on Zoom? And that's what started it all. And of course, she was kind enough to bring in Saran Jones. So if you haven't seen that, it's up on the ALBW page. But that was just a fabulous thing for you to do, Sally. And I thank you very much.
Right.
But we talked last week, and you came up with a great idea for the beginning on Anne's birthday. So why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's quite a sentimental idea. And I was quite nervous about suggesting it. I was talking to Laurie Shannon about it, and it is a sentimental idea. There's no sort of hiding away from that, but it all comes back to the idea that for a long time I've found it sad that I and anyone else who wanted to couldn't visit Anne's grave or put flowers on it, simply because we don't know where it is. We know where we think it is. And, people, as you know, you're involved in trying to be much more accurate about where exactly it is.
Right.
But, the first time I went looking for it was about 20 years ago, and Jill Livingston took me around the Minster, and she showed me where she thought it was, which is in the North Isle. And she said, we think it's about here. And all I could see were stones on the floor. There's nothing to commemorate her there. Yeah. And, we know that her gravestone has been damaged on several occasions. Yeah. The reasons for which we're not entirely clear about.
Correct.
But it also saddened me that I couldn't go in. I'm a big fan of the Brontes as well. And I love the fact that you can go in the church at Haworth and Emily Bronte is buried there along with Charlotte. Yeah. And Bramwell and Patrick. They're there, and it's a very emotional thing knowing what they're buried. It's not good enough to go, oh, they're here somewhere.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely.
Me and my sister looked for my grandma's brother was killed in the First World War, and me and my sister spent days trying to find his grave. We knew it was in a graveyard somewhere, but we didn't know where. And on Remembrance Day, we spent hours trying to find this grave, over several years, and we could never find it. And then one year we just found it. We just found it. It was just there. We just saw it.
Wow!
And it was such an emotional experience to know that that's where his body was, and we could now come here and put flowers on his, where he was.
Yes. Yeah.
And we can't do that with Anne. And it saddens me that we can't. She deserves that. So what I would like to suggest is, and again, this only came to me when we unveiled Diane Lawrenson's extraordinary, brilliant sculpture of Anne in the Peace Hall.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a wonderful thing on Anne's birthday if, I intend to do it, and I'd like everyone to join me, is to put some flowers by the sculpture in Anne's memory on her birthday at ALBW, and for it to be something we do every year until the time when I hope we can really put them on a real grave when we find out where it is. Which
Absolutely.
I hope we will. I hope everybody in Halifax wants to help those people who are actively trying to, go through all the historic documents and locate where she is.
I can tell you we have had a lot of assistance from a lot of different areas as we've tried to go through this process. So that help is definitely there. Yeah. Yeah.
So until we can do that, I think it'd be great. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and put some flowers on the statue, and I'm going to write my message to Anne on her birthday on my flowers. And if anybody wants to join me at 9:30 on Anne's birthday in the Peace Hall, I'll buy you all a cup of tea afterwards, and we can all get together and celebrate her birthday.
And have a great time. We have checked this out with the Peace Hall. They are more than happy to have it happen. As Sally said, it's 9:30 on Sunday, April 3rd, which is the second day of ALBW. And we'll be at the statue. And I encourage all of you, if you can't make it because you're off on a tour or something, I still encourage you to come back to the Peace Hall and lay your flowers. Do it every day if you like. They are going to make sure that there's a flower cart there.
And people aren't there on the Sunday anyway. People are going to be there throughout the week. And I hope that, throughout the week, people can do this. And by the end of the week, hopefully there'll be quite a nice display there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this idea.
Anyway, I told you it was sentimental, but there we go. And it has got a kind of purpose. I think it's about not forgetting that we don't yet know where she's buried.
Absolutely.
And not letting go with that until we do know, because as I say, she deserves to be remembered more respectfully than she is at the moment.
Yes, she does. And I think it's terrific, and I think it's going to be a very colorful little message to anybody that maybe hasn't gotten on board with that idea. So let's see how that goes. But Sally, thank you for coming on here at the beginning. Sally's going to be returning to talk a little bit with Lori Shannon later in the show about the Ann Lister Society, and hopefully stick around for a few Q&A at the end. So thank you, Sally. Much appreciated. So isn't that terrific? I think it is. Oh, I forgot. I want to give a little shout out to my striped shirt crew. All right, now moving on. We're going to start talking about the event guide. And as I mentioned earlier, that event guide is going to show up in your mailboxes on Monday. It'll also be on the ALBW chat page, and it will be on the Ann Lister Birthday Week page. So get ready for that. And it is really something. I want to show you a little something. This is the event guide. This is the events for ALBW, the original one. It was supposed to run in 2020. Steph, could you just throw up that picture of the week at a glance, please? So there is ALBW 2022. And as you can see, it's quite a bit bigger. We have over 80 events and close to 30 free workshops. You guys are going to be really busy that week. So let's start talking a little bit about exactly what it is we're going to be offering you. So we have, we've split it up into a variety of things. We have our evening events, we have our daytime events, and those are really split up between walking tours, coach tours, free workshops, any number of events that are going on. And we're not the only ones that are going to be throwing events, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But as far as walks are concerned, number one, to get you started in Halifax, we have two really great walking tours. One is with Blue Badge Guides. It's Ann Lister's Halifax. They take you around the whole of downtown Halifax, talk about where some of the places used to be. You'll get to take a visit into the library to see one of the diaries, into the Minster to see her stone. So it's a really good overview walking tour, about 2 hours long. And the other walking tour that we have is with the amazing David Glover. David's tour was the first thing I did when I came to Halifax for the very first time. And David, who is the president of the Halifax Antiquarian Society, is one of the leading experts on Ann Lister. And he takes you to places that were very much a part of Ann's growing up, including the house that she lived in as a child, the one that we believe is the one that she snuck out from to go see the bad people, as well as you'll get to see Frank Pickford's house, where Ann and Frank had many conversations in which Ann never really divulged her own desires while she still got Frank to do so. Just a bunch of stuff. Love David's tours. Do please take a look for those. We also have several really, really wonderful coach tours. And we're going to be talking about this event guide sheet a little bit later on. But the biggie is the complete Ann and Ann Coach and Walking Tour. And this is the one, if you want to see pretty much everything there is to see about Ann Lister and Ann Walker up at both Shibden Hall and Lightcliffe, this is the one. We take you up to Lightcliffe. You get to visit the cemetery, see where Ann is buried. We do know where she is buried. You'll also get entry into the tower, which is normally locked. You'll get to see the memorial that actually does exist there for her. It's not just a stone in the grass. That just marks where her grave is. And then from there, we take you down to Shibden Hall. You have a timed opening to Shibden Hall. The ticket is included in the price. During the time that you are in Shibden Hall, part of that coach tour will be seeing the grounds of Shibden Park and taking a hike up to Walker Pit, where you will get to see that lonely Gothic tower that marks the respect that Ann had for Ann Walker. That's really an amazing sight to come across that, just standing out there in the field. It's first time I saw it was at 10:30 on a summer equinox in Halifax, and it was just really heart stopper. And then the next one, we also, moving along those same lines, with, and this ties into Gentleman Jack, of course. We have a Gentleman Jack on location tour that's going to take you to York and Holy Trinity. Bingo. So you'll get to see Holy Trinity. You'll get to see the inside of the church and the altar where they took their vows together, right there. So that is another one of our great coach tours. We also have Sutton Park. Sutton Park, as you recall, stood in for Crow Nest. So you'll get a complete tour of Sutton Park plus a lovely tea while you're there. You'll get to see the rooms that the series was shot in, including Anne's bedroom and the drawing room where they courted. Let's see, what else do we have? We also have, this is one of my favorites for a variety of reasons. We have a lovely tour that will take you out to Haworth, to the Bronte Parsonage. You'll get to see that. You get a guided tour of the parsonage. You also get you get a walkthrough tour of the parsonage. You get a guided tour of Haworth. Then we put you back in the coach and we bring you back towards Halifax, first stopping in Heptonstall, where you can stop and pay your respects to Sylvia Plath and do whatever you want to do to his name, because it happens often. And then also you'll get a few hours in the afternoon in the delightful town of Hebden Bridge. It is a lesbian mecca and it's gorgeous and it's a wonderful place to hang out. So that's a really great day tour. Now, the other thing is, as far as the rest of our walks are concerned, we are once again delighted to be partnering with Calderdale Heritage Walks. And that's the gold standard for heritage walks in the Halifax and Calderdale area. These are all local guides, all of whom know their subjects inside and out. That's David Glover is one of them. Again, Ian Philp is one. Ian is the contact for the Friends of Friendless Churches and Lightcliffe Churchyard. You'll meet him while you're up there seeing the tower if you're on the coach tour. And then, of course, Jill Liddington leads a walk. So that's really terrific. So you'll get a chance to spend some time with Jill, which is always fun. Also, as far as another tour that I really want you to look into, because this one is fantastic. It's another one that I took. David Glover also has a tour of the Halifax Minster. And I know that many of you who have visited Halifax in this last 2-year period, I'm certain that you've gone into the Minster to see Anne's Ledger Stone. But if you haven't taken David's tour, you have missed so many stories that are connected to so many of the memorials there that will further fill out your knowledge with wonderful little anecdotes about who these people were, how they related to Anne's life, and also Anne Walker's life. So, look for that when you get the schedule. The other thing that I'm really excited about is the archives. The archives are going to be open. They're going to be open from 10 to 4 most days. Now, this is a big deal because the archives are typically open. It's either 1 or 2 days a week. It's staffing and COVID, et cetera. But they'll be open for us on most days except Sunday and Wednesday from 10 to 4. So if you have any questions about how to use the archives, see how the place operates, they will likely have some things out for you to take a look at. Please feel free to go in there. But wait, there's more. The archives are also going to have 4 separate tours in Halifax in the archives that it's their session on conserving Anne's diaries. So for those of you who are interested in how they take care of those diaries and seeing some of them up close and personal, that's another great opportunity that you're going to want to take advantage of. And then there's a third archives tour. This one will take you out to Wakefield. And when you take that tour, you're going to get a private viewing of their Anne Lister in Her Own Words exhibition. The archives in Halifax has a tremendous amount of material, but the archives in Wakefield have even more. So even if you've been to the Halifax archives, you won't want to miss this tour if you're a true Anne Lister aficionado. So get on out there. And then we have, of course, along with everything else that we're doing during the daytime, we have our evening events. And this is what's really important for joining all of our community together, because you'll be able to come together in the evening after you're done with your various tours. We're going to be kicking off with Helena and Jill in the Minster. And this is the event that really started it all. It was my own experience of being in the Minster in July of 2019 when Jill and Helena were talking about young Ann Lister, or Who is the Real Ann Lister was the title of their talk. And that was when I had my very transformative experience of being gathered with my community in this very special place where Ann Lister was baptized and buried. And believe me, to be in community with our entire crowd in that building, as we talk to the two people who are really the prime movers of bringing Ann Lister into our book knowledge, it's an amazing opportunity to sit there again. And then we also have on Sunday night, which is Ann Lister's birthday. We're really excited about this because it is Sally Wainwright and O'Hoolihan Tito in concert. And that is at the Victoria Theater. So when you talk about being in community, we will be able to fit everybody into this place. Terrific sound and lighting. It's going to be a wonderful experience. We'll be talking to Sally about Gentleman Jack season 2, when we might be able to expect it, many little backstories that she has about it, and really excited about that. And then the amazing O'Hoolihan Tito. And I know that most of you are familiar with their theme song for Gentleman Jack, but they are an award-winning folk duo, and they put on a heck of a fun concert. So looking forward to seeing all of you there on Sunday night, the 3rd. On Monday, and this is really special, we have taken Monday in Ann Lister Birthday Week, and we are dedicating the entire day to that courageous woman, Ann Walker. You know, we don't know much about Ann Walker, but Diane Halford and Alex Tansley, who head up In Search of Ann Walker, have been doing a tremendous amount of research. And as you know, Diane did find one of Ann Walker's diaries, which has just been a revelation all on its own. They'll be talking about that along with a few other special guests on Monday night at the Minster. But the entire day is dedicated to Anne. We have many special events going on around her. And then we have an extra special event in the evening at Dean Clough, which is just a fabulous facility. At one time, it was the largest carpet mill in the world. And now it hosts a whole variety of different meeting places and spaces. So that night at the Arches, we're going to have Ann Walker Tavern. And I forgot to mention that on Sunday night, after Sally and O'Hoolihan Tito, that's the opening night of our birthday bash. We actually have 5 separate dance events in the evening at Ann Lister Birthday Week. And each of them will be featuring DJ Mandy, who is the DJ for the very famous Todd Morden Women's Disco. So if you're a viewer of Last Tango in Halifax, you'll remember a little bit of scenery at the Todd Morden Women's Disco. We also have, those are our 3 main nights in the beginning of the week. We have several other things going on. We have a comedy night on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, we have our ALBW Film Festival. This is still in planning. We're still running through some approvals, etc. But you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be a really special evening. We'll tell you more about it once everything's locked down, but really excited about this. And then on Thursday night, for a little bit of fun, one of our very own ALBW community Shibden After Dark folk, Kate McCabe, who is a member of the Manchester Comedy Sports Troupe, is going to be bringing her crew over to do the Shibden Hall Murder Mystery Improv. If you've never done one of these before, make sure you do this one. It'll be based around a little murder that happens in Shibden Hall. It's probably not going to be historically accurate, but it's going to be screamingly funny. I love the comedy sports approach to all of this stuff. And then also on Friday night, we have another dance. We have many things going on. Now, I'm going to go back really briefly about to two special tours that are going to be happening in the middle of the week. I've had many of you reach out to me and talk about how, well, I'm going to be in Halifax for ALBW, but I'd also like to see some of the rest of the countryside while I'm in England. And a lot of this obviously comes from some of our international visitors. Well, we've decided that we'd like to make that easier for you. So we've put together two really special coach tours. One of them is a trip over to Plasnewydd to visit the home of the ladies of Llangollen. And as you know, this is a place that Ann Lister visited with her aunt. And this was shortly after the night before she and Mariana had been in bed together. And Ann Lister describes how she cried pitifully throughout the night and that Mariana had just simply ignored her, never acknowledged that she was crying. So off she set to Plasnewydd and met Sarah Ponsby and Lady Butler. And as she describes it in her diary, it gave her a greater sense of hope. So we certainly hope that you will take advantage of that tour. The other tour we're running, and I'm really excited about this. So in 1824, as recorded in Helena Whitbread's The Secret Diaries of Miss Ann Lister, I happen to have one of the early copies, so it's not called that. Helena records a tour that Anne and her Aunt Anne took up to the Lake District. So a few weeks ago, Rachel Lappin, who you will meet in a few minutes, and I got in her, we got in her van and we drove up to the Lake District following the path that Anne and her Aunt Anne took. And I have to tell you, it was so much fun because there's so much there that Anne visited that's still there. The inns that she stayed at, the pubs where she had dinner, the churches they visited, obviously the Lake District, if you know anything about it, its reputation for being one of the most beautiful places in the North is not incorrect. This is going to be a really special tour, especially because our guide for it is none other than Rachel Whitbread, who has been drip fed on Ann Lister since day one. So we're very excited about that. So think about doing that one. We're going to take all the hassle out of it for you. If you're coming from some other part of the world, you're not going to have to worry about getting an international driver's license. You're not going to have to worry about renting a car. You're not going to have to worry about whether or not you're driving on the other side of the road. Note, I did not say the wrong side of the road, but the other side of the road. And you're going to be able to actually see things instead of worrying about that narrow little lane you're traveling down. So do please take a look for that because we're really excited. I'm actually taking that one on Wednesday because I want to do it with Rachel. Okay, now moving on. Free workshops. If you could put that up, Steph. As I mentioned, we also have a bunch of free workshops. I think it's 28. Might be more than that. You see this one right up here on the top. We do have on one of our days, we have the Anne versus Anne's Come Thrash Me Backgammon tournament. So don't miss that. We're going to be talking to several of our authors. We decided this year that one of the great ways that we want to allow you to have access to the authors is to do these in small workshop settings. So the Peace Hall is very generously allowed us to use their Cagill rooms, which is a wonderful, wonderful seminar spot. Big windows that overlook Beacon Hill. Of course, you know, Shibden Hall's right over that hill there. And you'll have basically an hour and a half with each one of the authors that we're bringing in to ask questions, hear little, some of them are going to be putting on small workshops and get your books signed. And we will arrange with the book corner to get books into the room in case you haven't bought them yet. But as you can see here, we've got Jill Liddington, Female Fortune, coming your way, and a new edition coming your way too, by the way. So that's those are the workshops, free. Believe me, if you're worried about coming to ALBW because you can't afford it, we've designed this event to make sure that money should not be what keeps you from coming. You will have more than enough to do, and then be able to take part in some of the community events in the evening. So that's really important to us. So happy to be able to do that. Some of the other things that we're going to be doing during those workshops, right off the bat to start with, we have a workshop with Joanne Bartone, who has come on to our ALBW team. She is a professional photographer from Pittsburgh. She's been in the business for a very long time, and she's going to help you learn how to take better pictures so you can do that on Saturday before you get started on all the tours you're going to be taking. So that's something that we're really happy about. We also have additional book signings. Helena Whitbread is going to be in one of the workshop book signings. Patricia Hughes to talk about Eliza Rain and sign her books. Angela Clare, who is also known by her pen name for the Moss House. Adeline Lim. Janet Lee will be with us. She's going to be doing a workshop of her own on the Gentleman Jack effect. And we're very excited that we're going to have some of the people who are in the book, other than most of you that are there. We have some people that are coming in from very far away to be part of this. Let's see, Ed Lynn Farrow. I'm going to be doing a little workshop with Andy Barraclough and Reverend Jane Finn. And we're going to be talking about the search that we've been doing for Ann Lister in the Minster. We've been doing some GPS scanning work along with some other research. That research continues. So we'd like to bring you up to speed on what we've found to date during ALBW. So look for that workshop. Also, the Code Breaker is going to be available in one of those workshops. So if you're interested in finding out how to read Anne's diaries, how to read her handwriting, how to decode them, come on in and talk to them. They're a great bunch. I am going to have them on ALBW Live beginning of January. So really looking forward to talking with them then. Let's see, what else? Code Breakers, by the way. Meanwhile, back at the archives is going to be creating a special event just for the Code Breakers. That's by invitation only. So if you're out there and you're a Code Breaker, please watch for that announcement. They want to thank you for the work that you've done, as do I, and as does the rest of our community. Thank you for all that hard work. All right. Now, this is a really important part. Now I want to talk to you about how to use the event guide that you're going to be getting on Monday. And the reason I want to describe this to you, the event guide is 45 pages long. We have a lot of events. And many of them happen sort of on the same times, on the same days. As you can see in this lower left-hand corner on the image that Steph has up for you, you can see how the events sort of run in different tracks. Now, we've made sure on most of our events to run them on several different days. So if there's something on Monday that is in the way of you seeing something else on Monday, most likely you can find that on a different day and create a way for yourself to make a schedule that works for you. One of the reasons that we're doing this, the event guide this way, is that during the first event launch back in 2019, when we put the tickets up for sale, we actually thought we were doing a soft opening and that we'd have a few people coming in that we'd reached out to test the system. Well, word had gotten around and we sold out of every single ticket to ALBW 2020 in 20 minutes. They were all gone. We had many people who complained about the fact that by the time they had read through, and there were really only like 10 events total, but by the time they had read through those 10 events and then went to purchase them, they were already sold out. So we want to make sure that you have a running start at this. So in your event guide, in the back pages, if you see this little image that's up in the upper right-hand area, we're providing you with a worksheet. And can I get a day at a glance image? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so here's the day at a glance image. You can see that the ticket numbers are on here. Nice little visual. Now let's go back to the worksheet stuff. You'll have the opportunity well prior to entering into the box office to use this worksheet. You can decide which tours you want to take the worksheet, circle the number that you want. You can make any notes you want to over in that right-hand column, including pricing, etc. But by the time you enter the box office on December 18th, for those who are new to our group, you will be able to basically just go right down the list of numbers, because the Victoria Theater tickets will also share these same numbers sequentially in order. So if you want 206, 302, 405, and 500, all you have to do is find that, click it, put it in your basket. Don't bother reading it because they match up. And believe me, they match up. We've had 5 people cross-checking this thing for the last week. So that's a really important part of that. There is a ticketed events image, Steph, that you've got. There we go. Now, the other part about this, when you look at the events in the event guide, if you look at this top one, the Gentleman Jack on Location tour that's listed here on the image that Steph has up, you'll notice down in the bottom left part of that description, you can see the ticket numbers, 204, 301, 700. That part of the guide is telling you what your ticket number is on the day that you might want it. So when you open up your guide and see all of our events listed, all 80 of them, you're going to be able to find your ticket right there. You'll be able to cross-reference it with your day at a glance to know how it works with the other ones you want to take, and then put it on your worksheet. So I hope that we have made it really easy and really exciting for you. Now, meanwhile, back at events. As I said earlier, we aren't the only people that are putting together events for ALBW. I want to show you a little something. Back in 2019 and into 2020, when we were planning ALBW 2020, we were really strangers to Halifax and Calderdale, and they were helpful, but we didn't know much about what they were doing at the same time. Well, in a meeting in Halifax about 3 weeks ago, I was at the Peace Hall, and they pulled this out. And this is what they did for 2020. See all this? It's page after page after page after page after page after page, pages of events that they had going on the same week we were going to be there. Well, guess what? They're doing it again. So I'm going to bring in our Senior Visitor Engagement Officer for Calderdale, the lovely and talented Rachel Leppin. Hey, Ray.
Hey.
Rachel and I are in constant contact, probably, 20 texts a day.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, at least. So Rachel, you've got a lot going on in Calderdale for planning, right? Between tourism and Calderdale cultural destinations.
Yeah. So obviously I've moved posts very recently. People might remember me from Cultural Destinations, now Senior Visitor Engagement Officer with Calderdale. Similar kind of post, but now working for the local authority. But yeah, Pat, as you said, back in 2020, Calderdale had got a whole series of events, as you say, in this beautifully produced booklet that we just had printed. And then literally 2 or 3 days later, we went into national lockdown at the end of March, so got pulled. But all was not lost, because I guess those of us that have remained in touch with the whole analyst an ALBW thing, just realized the whole sense of community that had been born out of this, the excitement around it. And so this is just our building block for things that we can build on, you know, when you all come to visit in April 2022. And we all look forward to welcoming you. We're so excited about it. You know, some of you will know the stunning Calderdale Valley.
Yeah.
I know you know it well, you love it well, and you know, looking forward to just welcoming you all to celebrate all things and us.
Yeah, and the great part about this time is that I can't tell you how absolutely honored I am. Quite frankly, I mean, this was really touched my heart. They invited me to be on the committee. So we are now in direct communication. So we make sure that things balance out, that we know when the rooms are available, when people will be available, et cetera. Because at any given time, we have a lot going on. We have a lot of people in town who might be looking for other things to do. So that's going to be fun. But I also want to add this. When you talk about coming to the UK, when you talk about coming to England, you know, I always hear people talk about various and sundry parts of England and how they want to go visit that. I have to tell you that Calderdale and Halifax, in my estimation, and I've spent a lot of time in England and other parts of England, is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It's spectacular. And the people in Halifax are so special and so wonderful. It's almost like coming across Brigadoon for those of you who like a good Broadway musical. It's really special and spectacular. And you have brought a little video for us today, haven't you?
Yeah, we visit Calderdale, have put together a short video, so you know how beautiful our area is. People that live here have visited. Some of our viewers today won't have been yet. We will still be here in April when you come to see us.
So let's roll it.
We put together a minute or so, so launching it now. Let's go.
Here we go.
I've been waiting for you. Come with your friends and show me something new. Hey, yeah, it's a hell of a time. This world's insane, but we gon' be alright. The door is open, my light is on. Blow up your speakers when the bass drop. I feel elated, everyone should. Let's show this party how we do. Let's get together and let the good times roll. Let's get together, everybody know. Let's get together. Let's get together.
Well, if that doesn't trip your trigger, you're dead. So check your pulse. Rachel, thank you so much for coming in. We have to get to the Enlister Society yet, but thanks. And thanks for the video.
Yeah, not at all.
Bye.
Thanks, Pat.
Bye-bye. Okay, now, one other really important thing that's happening at ALBW, nested within Ann Lister Birthday Week, is the inaugural meeting of the Ann Lister Society. And so I've invited Lori Shannon and Sally Wainwright to come back in and give us a couple of words about what's going on with that. And they are. So very excited about this. And Lori, why don't you give us a little description of what's going to be going on?
Shall I begin?
Yeah, you may as well.
Okay.
I think I just put us out of order, but I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all good. I just want to start by saying thanks to Pat and to the ALBW team for just heroic work keeping ALBW on the rails. It gives new meaning to the hashtag She Persisted. So thank you guys. Also just phenomenally grateful for ALBW's support, enabling the first convening of the Ann Lister Society for 2 days of talking about new ways for us to think about Ann Lister. As many of you may know, the Ann Lister Society is dedicated to creating spaces for sustained analysis of Anne's amazing achievements, by which we mean both her historical life, as she so brilliantly lived it, and also her keen writing, as she recorded and reflected on that life. Some of you may know I'm a recovering Shakespeare scholar myself, and speaking as a Shakespeare scholar, I just want to say, I really think that the Ann Lister diaries are an emerging masterpiece in the English literary tradition, and they deserve our attention in that regard as well. Sally's work bringing Anne out of the archive and across the universe has totally altered the horizons of possibility for Anne's legacy. I also have to give a shout out to the West Yorkshire Archive Service and my fellow transcribers for their dedication to this unbelievable, unprecedented historic document. Our first conference in April brings together a transatlantic group of about 20 scholars. By scholars, I'm speaking both of academics and independent researchers across all the career stages of both categories. I'm going to say a little bit about what will be on view. Thrilled to announce we're going to present 2 keynote events for the Ann Lister Society meeting. The first, we will hear from Emma Donoghue. I'm sure many of you are familiar with her novels. Delighted to have her with us, and she will be speaking about Eliza Reign. So it'll be a great opportunity to hear a lot more digging in an area I know a lot of people are very interested in. The second keynote and the event of Friday evening will feature Sally Wainwright. And Sally will be in conversation with me. And we've begun some conversations thinking about the genre of Gentleman Jack and what it took to compose this series out of the raw materials that Sally has based it on. As a literary person myself, I'm really interested in the genres that both do and don't provide themselves to the task at hand. So we're going to focus on the craft of Sally's writing and how she essentially had to create a bespoke original genre for this completely unprecedented series that I think everyone is, we're all equally expert in the line by line. And we're going to talk about the brass tacks of building something like this with no precedent to lean on. We also will have then an array of speakers who will speak in panels. Can't summarize them all. They're listed on the Ann Lister Society website at my university, which hosts our page right now. But they will range from female mobility then to transgressive women now, from Anne's relation to autoeroticism, to her own sources, especially Latin poetry, theology, I'm going to throw a little geology in there, to analyses of queer estate and household dynamics in the period, and queer community forms in Anne's time as compared to the ones we know now. And finally, we'll range from papers that situate Anne as a Regency figure in manners and politics. I mean, people think 19th century, they think Victorian, but that's not quite right. She's pre-Victorian. And so what is at stake in the Regency period, about which, in a way, many of us know less? So we'll hear papers talking about her as a Regency figure, and then move all the way to several very interesting papers that will focus on the Gentleman Jack fandom right now. So we'll be shuttling back and forth historically and trying to weave it all together, but also bringing up really some new angles that people may not have had the chance to ponder so far. As I said, our website has the fuller slate, the titles, certainly promises to be a feast of thought about Ann Lister.
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting things. I just want to, Lori, I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to point out that you'll find the link to the website about the conference in the guide. It'll be published in there. So
great. And if you just search Ann Lister Society on Google, you can quickly navigate the architecture there to the conference program. It's not final. It's not, times aren't set and panels aren't set. We have a few other people who may actually show up, but you can get a gist of it there, and it'll certainly be clarified when which papers are happening vis-a-vis the 2 days for purposes of registration later.
Lori, because I completely screwed up this opening when we got here, I'm hoping that you and Sally can talk a little bit for just a minute about how the ALS came about, because I know it's been a dream of Sally's. So take it away, Sal.
Well, I as you know, I'm a Bronte fan as well as an Ann Lister fan, and I know that they've got a very lively society in Haworth, which I've actually only just joined recently, but I've always appreciated it and admired the way it was run and the fact that it's very lively and they have a lot of members. And I always thought it was sad that there wasn't an Ann Lister society, but until recently there would have only been about 5 of us that would have been in it. So as Ann Lister became more globally well known, it did strike me that an Ann Lister, I'd like to be part of an Ann Lister society. I'd like to be part of a group that think about the diaries, that talk about the diaries, that research the diaries, that and this is all happening now. It's happening all over the world, and this is a way of coordinating it. So me and Ann Choma talked about it a lot at one point, and I think we talked about it to you, Pat, and you said, "Oh, you need to meet Laurie Shannon," and so I did meet Laurie, and Laurie's really kind of run with the ball, and it's turned it into, it's like a dream come true for me. It's like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. I mean, I hope one day we'll get to a point where we can publish things like, Bronte Society publish their Bronte studies every quarter, I think it is, or every 6 months. And I think that would be a fantastic thing to aim for at some point, that we do have a membership ultimately, and we can share ideas in print as well as in conference. But that's how it all kind of started. It was just a sort of pipe dream that's now become reality.
Yeah, and I have to tell you that these two have really been up to a lot of interesting little travels recently, including getting up to York for the opening of the new Ann Lister College at York University, which that was all Laurie's doing, really. Okay.
Laurie put in the application for the college to be named after Ann Lister, and I just
that's right. Yeah,
that's all I did. But then, how amazing is that? In October, we went up there to open it. We cut the ribbon on a new college at the University of York, and it was such an emotional day. It was absolutely extraordinary. It was one of those. I mean, me and Laurie just kept bursting out crying. Well, I did. It was very, very emotional to see Anne's name in big on a college.
Yeah. Can you imagine how she would have felt to see that? I mean, the woman who was denied university.
Laurie and I did sort of say on the day, I think she's probably quite proud of us.
Yeah.
We've got this.
Well done, both of you. So, so thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Laurie.
I just want to say, I know that you need to keep to a schedule, and I won't take too much more time, but that's also the kind of thing that the Ann Lister Society is going to be doing. In addition to making platforms for conversation, we're really advocating for her recognition everywhere from, getting into the college curriculum to, and this is just a beyond dream come true, having a college named after her. But those kinds of activities are really part of the advocacy that we're trying to do as well. I'll just say for the ALBW audience in particular, our plan is definitely to build ALS into a registered membership organization in coming years. And we'll talk more about that in April, and I hope to meet many of you and talk about your interests in it. I certainly hope all of you will join it when we do that. But for now, I just want to extend the warmest special welcome to ALBW folks and invite you to register for some or all of our conference when Pat opens up that process. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and talking with you in Halifax. And before I go, just to say, yes, we are indeed working on some very cool ALS swag.
Indeed. Well, thank you to both of you. And thank you, first of all, thank you for doing it. Thank you for putting ALS together. And thanks for coming on. So I'm going to move on. I think we're going to lose Sally at this point for Q&A unless she can stay around a little bit longer. But hopefully she'll be there. Maybe not, because we aren't done yet. But thank you. So Steph, moving on. There we go. So just a little bit of the fine print at the end, and then we're going to get to Q&A. We still have some surprises up our sleeve about what's going to be happening at ALBW. So even though you're getting this fabulous event guide on Monday, keep in mind that there are some other things out there. Another piece of information for you. ALBW headquarters will be open every day at the Kegel rooms at Peace Hall for any questions that you have from 10 a.m. to 5:30. All of our tours will be meeting at the Ann Lister statue at the Peace Hall, where you can put your flowers down. Don't forget about that. And also, there's a couple of events where you will have to get to the place that you're starting from. David Glover's is one of them, but we've provided you with the phone number for Ziggy's Taxis. Ticket sales, first purchasers, if you have been waiting this long, almost 3 years, waiting this long for this event, and you were our loyal purchasers to start with, as you know, you are getting 48 hours advance to purchase tickets, and your ticket sales starts on the 16th. General admission ticket sales start on the 18th. So you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. Travel insurance, real quick. Steph, let's get that card up. Some of you have asked me about travel insurance. Cheryl McDonald has sourced this for us. This is something that she uses. Really easy to find, worldnomads.com. I priced this out for an American coming over, and basically for some really great travel insurance, it was about $75. And if you want really fabulous travel insurance, it was $135. So it covers all those cancellations, etc. Talking about cancellations, ALBW tickets can be canceled up to 60 days out from the event. But trust me, we're not horrible people. If you have, just let us know. If you've got some event that you need to, that you can't attend, please reach out, because we will take care of that. No worries. Finally, COVID. I know there's a bunch of you sitting out there saying, well, how about COVID? Well, we're all saying, how about COVID? And the bottom line to COVID is this. COVID is going to be with us for a very long time. COVID is already morphing into something that is far less dangerous. The new variant that they're talking about, it turns out after the media made a feeding frenzy off of it, that what they're finding is that symptoms, it does transmit easily, but that the symptoms are much less as long as you're vaccinated. We at ALBW believe in vaccinations. We are going to ask that you do so unless in some way it's not possible for you to do it physically. We will ask you to follow whatever COVID guidelines are in place when we are there. We also ask that you wear masks and social distance if we're still at that point. So please keep in mind that we are in a community of ALBW, but we are also in the larger community of Halifax. And what good communities do is they take care of each other. So please keep that in mind and do what you can to keep all of us safe. But I will tell you that I think that we have this thing on the run, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And Steph, throw that card up from Ann Lister because this is perfect. From 1833, believe in all things not unreasonable and hope all things not impossible. And that's how I'm going to close my COVID talk. So now let's move to some Q&A. All right. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. First, this is from Amanda Aikman. How many people are we anticipating at ALBW 2022? Will there be crowding issues? Well, that is a darn good question, and we actually won't know that until the tickets go on sale. I can tell you that of the returning purchasers from the first year around, we have nearly all of them reach back out to us to tell us that they were still interested. Interested and actually purchasing are two different things, so I honestly can't tell you, but it could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 or more. We'll know more after tickets get sold. I'm going to run through here real quick to see if there's anything specific for Sally, just to make sure that we can get to that. And you're in the clear, Sally. If you need to go, nothing's coming in yet. They do still come in as we talk. But
okay. I'm going to have to run, but it's nice
right.
to be here, and I'll see everyone in April.
Thanks so much, Sally. Much appreciated for everything. All right, moving on. This is from Marion McKeown. Are there allowances on the Halifax walks for those who are not brilliant hikers? Yes, actually, the walks in Halifax themselves are, I think you'll have a pretty easy time of it. Halifax is hilly, and you will run into some hills, but generally speaking, wouldn't you agree, Rachel, that they should be pretty well off?
Yeah, certainly the ones around town will be flat. If you walk up to Shibden, those of you that will have done it, most people have read about it, would go up Old Bank. That is anything but flat. But around town is flat. But I mean, all the information will be in the guidance. Team ALBW have put together such comprehensive guidance. It will be clear if there is a hill involved, if it's steep, and so on. So just look at the guidance for each event, and then you'll be able to make a judgment based on your own ability and mobility needs.
Right.
Issues.
The Calderdale Heritage Walks people especially are really, really good about, and you'll read this in the body of the copy in the guide, what's necessary, whether or not you need hiking boots if it's going to be muddy, if it's hilly, etc. So you should be okay, Marion. This is from Natalie Bourdon, who communicates with me regularly, and I'm always happy to hear her. Do you plan to have an ALBW app for the event? How should I keep myself up to date and organized during the week? Well, no, we don't have an app, but we have so many wonderful volunteers out there who, by the way, special shout out to all of them. I can't list you all by name right now, but I can tell you right off the top of my head, people like Mandy Mellor, Ardra Morse, who's going to be handling some of our photography. Same thing with Joanne Bartone. Mitch Tucker's been just wonderfully helpful. Linda Camara. And I know I'm missing a bunch of you. I'm very sorry about that, but believe me, I thank all of you. And if you are interested in volunteering for ALBW, please let us know. You can just direct message me or Cheryl McDonald. All right. And thank you, Kirsty Davies, because she just asked the question, will you be needing local volunteers during ALBW? And yes, we will. And Kirsty, if there's one person who should be there, it's you. Kirsty Davies is basically the mayor of Halifax when it comes to visiting Ann Lister fans and Gentleman Jack fans. From Heather McLean, will a ticket stay in your cart until you check out? That is a really, really good question. The Victoria Theatre has told us that you will have approximately 10 minutes while you're loading up your cart that ticket will be removed from inventory. It's your ticket. If you check out within 10 minutes, it's yours. Okay, so yes. From Esther Newton, in the event guide, can you specify the number of tickets if you want 2 or more? So here's how it works. For our early purchasers, The people that get to come in 48 hours before the opening of regular ticket sales, they are allowed 2 tickets apiece. For those people coming afterwards, you can buy 4 tickets apiece. So that's how that works. From Vicky Stampa, are there any plans to have any of the ALBW events, presentations, talks, etc., available live or recorded on Facebook or YouTube for folks that are not able to make the celebrations? We are looking into this. It's a possibility. We have talked to some folks about it. I can't tell you for sure right now that it's going to happen. But I do know that there are people out there who just physically aren't going to be able to make it. We are going to attempt to have live streams. And if we do, there'll be a nominal charge for it. And I mean nominal, but we need to be able to set up the equipment, et cetera. Something I want to point out before we get too far, Lori, in case you want to hop in on this, the Ann Lister Society meetings are featured in our event guide as a ticketed event. It's a very limited number of seats. We're going to be in the Copper Auditorium at Square Chapel, which is a fabulous little space, but it allows for about 80 guests to be sitting in and listening. There are 3 sessions total, correct, Lori? We've got the Friday all-day session. We have the talk between you and Sally Friday evening, and then we also have a half-day session with you on Saturday, correct?
Let's call it a long half day.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about that, or should they be prepared to try to make it not be walking in and out during the sessions, et cetera? Anything else you want to say about that, or put me on the spot? Sorry.
Obviously, it's a bunch of papers that'll be happening during both days, and you will have, before you even decide to purchase a ticket for 1 day, 2 days, the whole 3, you'll know exactly which papers are happening, what time, and so on for day 1 or day 2. So you'll know that. And as far as coming and going, it's normal to come and go. I would time it to the beginning and end of panel sessions. Don't wander into the middle of a panel session, maybe. But I mean, you could.
Right.
Common courtesy, normal stuff. But we will be putting the specific papers into groups of 3 mostly and setting up what time of day and which day.
Great.
Those will be on. You will know that before you need to choose what you're ticketing via the ALBW site, which I can't stress how grateful I am for you guys for hosting.
It's my very great pleasure. By the way, Natalie, I didn't finish your question. I just realized about how to keep yourself organized while you're at ALBW. Probably the best way to do it, unless some, Christmas fairy drops out of the sky and says they'll make an app for us, is to stop by the Kegel rooms, which is ALBW HQ. It's right in the Peace Hall. It's just steps away from the Ann Lister sculpture. And there'll be somebody on duty from 10:30 to 10 to 5:30 every day to help you keep on track, answer your questions, make sure, if you want to see if you can get additional tickets, whatever, we're there for you. Let's see. From Karen Ram, will day 2 COVID PCR testing have any effect on ALBW if still required in April? No. And it's really simple. Just so you all know, I've actually been to Halifax 4 times now, since when? I don't know, since we were able to go over there. It's been, the people in Halifax are really good about being careful. The day 2 testing is really nothing. You can order your PCR kit, have it delivered to your hotel. Very simple. There's a place called,
I think it was One Stop COVID Shop.
That's it. Thank you. One Stop COVID Shop. That is the website. Sign up, tell them where you're going to be. They'll send you the kit. The test itself is insanely easy to do, but you should allow about a half hour because there's a process to it. And you wrap it up in the box they send it to you with the tag that they give you, and off it goes in the Royal Mail, and you'll be fine.
And I'll just add, having done it only once and much guided by Pat's prior 3 experiences of this thing. Obviously, it's all emerging, and we don't know what it'll be like in April. But don't be over daunted by trying to figure out the test. Don't let the test be a reason you don't go. It is a little bit like complicated, it's confusing. You're filling out a form that's for the UK government, and it's not the same test that you need to get back on. But just it's complicated, but it's not bad. And when you look back on it, you're like, what was I so worried about?
Yeah, it's really one of those things like, oh my God, I have to do this now. And then, 15 minutes later, you're like, oh, okay, that was simple.
No, I practically was saying, Pat, can you hold my hand while I do it? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
And there'll be a whole bunch of people there'll be people who could support each other to do it, because people will already there'll be hundreds of people in the same boat. So just do it together, and it'll be fine. Don't let that put you off coming, like Laurie says. Yeah,
seriously, don't let that put you off. It's seriously not. You're fine. Just social distance. And P.S. If I haven't mentioned it, get the shot. Okay. Now, let's see, from Leslie Brown. Do we plan for this to be an annual event? I don't know. Do we? Yeah, of course we do. So I know that Halifax, Calderdale in general, is doing just a bang-up job of creating the Ann Lister Festival Week around Ann Lister's birthday. That's what we are nested within. And so, yes, we certainly hope that from here on out, that there will be an ALBW presence there. So let's see how many people show up this time, and we'll go from there. This is from Susan Brannigan. What currency will tickets be in? How do I pay if my currency is not the same as the tickets? The tickets, when you open up the event guide, you'll see the tickets in pounds and dollars. We chose dollars just simply because that's where the majority of our other visitors were coming from the first time around with this. Please keep this in mind, Americans, when you're looking at those prices. The prices are based on the exchange rate for the day that you purchase the ticket. That means that if I tell you that a ticket is $22.76 American against the 17 pounds it is for Brits, it may actually wind up to be $21. It just depends on when you buy the ticket. Your tickets are all going to be purchased through the Victoria Theatre ticketing site. They are actually hosting our ticketing this time around instead of Eventbrite, and they will be able to deal with your currency. Not to worry. So this question is from Barbara Sardinia. What is the weather usually like in the beginning of April in the UK? Rachel, give us a good one, will you?
No pressure. Thank you, Barbara, and hi. So the weather in the UK in April, it literally can range from probably, snow potentially to, a kind of 17, 18 degree for us. I don't know what that is in your money. Sunshine, it can be absolutely glorious, and it could be anywhere in between. That's just the British weather. So I would just cover all eventualities. Come with layers, of course, because you can just wrap up then. But it might be rainy, it might be dry, it might be snowy, it might be sunny. And I know that sounds like I'm just covering my back, but that's because it can be like that. There are websites you can go on, and you can actually look at the weather in a particular place for the last, I don't know, God knows how many years. I did it for Halifax a few weeks ago because I'd heard someone saying, oh, it's always going to rain there, and actually the rainfall for that week in April was very, very low. So typically over the last few years it has been quite pleasant by our standards. But the Calder Valley is green and beautiful because it rains a lot. So be prepared and come with layers, and definitely bring water.
But Rachel,
yeah,
what happens every time I come to Halifax?
Oh, it's glorious. It'll be a heat wave. It'll be an absolute heat. Was that the right answer, Pat? Pat brings
the right answer.
And, it's. And I didn't have to think about it because it's true. It's usually really, really lovely, and it's not after she's gone, I have to say. But just come prepared, but definitely bring the waterproof, bring layers, and it'll be.
Life will be good. Yeah.
Whatever it's doing, it'll be good.
Okay.
I've seen an awful lot of rainbows in Halifax.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. Over Shibden as well. I mean, it's the most beautiful spot for a rainbow. We've seen lots of photos on ALBW chat. So bring your cameras or your phones.
I got to tell you, I've already said it once, but you know, the whole Calder Valley is one of the most beautiful places I have ever been. And believe me, I have traveled all over the world. But more than anything else, it's the people. The people are just so freaking friendly. We were laughing about this the other day in a meeting with tourism and cultural services with Bobsy and Diana. That one of the things that I love in Halifax is that when you first run into somebody, a friend in Halifax, they don't just dive into BS. The first thing they ask you is whether or not you're okay, which to me is, as an American, is like, oh, wait, stop. Okay, wait, Rachel, before we start talking, how are you today? Right?
Yeah, how you doing? You don't always want to know the answer, but it's just polite to say that, isn't it? How you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
It's a nice reminder of a gentler time. Okay, from Emma Smith, who is eligible to purchase tickets early? The people who bought tickets for the 2020 event are the people that are eligible to purchase early, as well as the code breakers. So we've organized this. We've been organizing this for quite a while. If you did purchase tickets in 2020, we have you on a list. We have all your email addresses. So if you feel that you have been left out somehow, if you haven't heard from us, first of all, I would check your junk mail. But second of all, direct message Cheryl McDonald, MacDonald, Cheryl with a C, Cheryl, and she will check you against her list. If you're on that list, we'll make sure you get to purchase early. All right, and then finally, this is from Carrie, unless there's anybody else out there that hasn't got their question in. This is from Carrie Burrows. How do I stay in touch with the event if I don't have Facebook? Wow, what an excellent question. We are publishing a diary. It's called The Diary. It's a newsletter. It comes out basically weekly. How can we get you that link? Cheryl, Cheryl, pop up in here, will you? Hi.
So we can put the link out on the Facebook page. I'll put it out there because we've had that question a few times from folks.
They're not on Facebook, though, they're saying.
Oh.
How can you do it if you're not on Facebook?
We can put it on the website as well.
Oh, really good idea. Duh. Guess what? We have a website. And like many people who deal with social media, I forget about that. But yes, we do. And the event guide will be up on the website. So AnnListerBirthdayWeek.com. But there's a shortcut. Sorry, Steph, didn't tell you. You can also get there by just typing in www.albweek.com. Takes you right to our website. Boom. That's my producer.
It's so quick, magic. That's awesome.
Okay, well, that's it for our Q&A, at least everybody that made the cut while we were yammering away here. So I'm going to let all of you lovely people who are here for Q&A to go back. Steph, if you'll just bring me up. Thank you so much, everyone. Well, we got through it. And let the fun begin. I'm just so damn excited. I can't tell you. This thing is going to be epic. From the moment you get up in the morning till the time you come through all your walks and talks, to coming into our parties in the evening, to all of it. Please come join your community. Let's all take some time to congratulate ourselves for making it through this horrid last couple of years. Let's affirm ourselves. Let's affirm Ann Lister, and let's just have a damn good time. I'm Pat Esgate, lead organizer of ALBW. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in Halifax.